In the past, let's say 5 years, I've done so many private coaching sessions, but they were usually ad hoc sessions, and some of them were maybe 5 minutes, others were 3 hours. And in general, it's about the topic that if I look at myself as a person, then what do I want? What do I want from my life? And now the thing is, a lot of people say, I want to kind of enjoy myself or be happy or just let me live, and so on. So this is what people usually say. And now the thing is, what I designed about a year ago is this happy, active, healthy 100 plus concept, which is based on that you need to do with your activities. You need to do something for your body, your mind, your food, and then very, very important, that adds to it a meaning. So you have like these things. That is what I came up with, and that is a little bit different than this kind of like, let me just live in a non-structured way, in a happy way. And what I usually say is, look at your life, and the normal life goes like that, if that is kind of the happiness level on this axis, and here's the time. So usually at around the age of 80, you will die. So people will tell me, yeah, rest in peace, at about 80 plus minus. Okay. And the life usually goes something like that. You're happy, and then you kind of you stop working, and then you get old, and you have some diseases, and you don't feel that well anymore, and then kind of you die. And what I propose to that is, why not increase at any time you start the happy, active, healthy 100 plus, to increase the level of happiness, and then keep that straight, and then live longer, first of all, which is the 100 plus, but more happily all that period, and then maybe die at 90 or 100 or 110, but don't have a long suffering period, and all that time, which is now the green part, you add to your, let's say, standard life's blue part here. So that is what I actually suggest. And when I tell people, they will usually say some things that I suggest you have to do here. They say, I would say it goes like that. Yes, maybe, yeah, that's not. And then you go into things like cold shower, you go like intermittent fasting, and people will, say, no, I don't do that. And what happens then is, I usually then say, okay, look, the thing is, what is your goal in life? So what is your kind of your vision, mission of your life? So which is this meaning thing? What do you want to achieve? And there is obviously a lot of things, and that can change, like helping others, doing something good, and so on. There's a lot of stuff in that. But there's lots of videos I do on that, like the Adler principles and so on. There's a lot of things, but in most of these coaching sessions, what I ask people, and I think that is the most effective question, and that is, if you have kids, let's say you have kids, and they have grandkids, and they have grandkids, so you can ask that person, do you want to go skiing with those guys? Do you want to go skiing with your grandchildren? And if usually the guys then say, well, whatever happens. And here the thing is, whatever happens means, the first generation, like with your kids, you go skiing here, fine. then with the next ones, maybe you go skiing with them, or sports, or football, or baseball, or whatever. You go cycling, you go hiking, you play soccer with them, or whatever activity. If they go traveling, you travel with them, and so on. So it's this active, active part. Sorry, I draw that in red. But what about the next generation? And maybe even the next generation? So that is what I ask people. And obviously you can say, because if we die, if life ends with death, then it doesn't matter. You can also commit suicide here, so it doesn't matter, or here, nothing matters. That is actually true as a philosophical statement. Nothing actually matters. So you can do whatever you want to. But if you actually have this vision, and I actually think you like your family, you really enjoy being with the family. So the question is, how many of these guys do you want to see? And do you want to have an active part in their life? And that, for me, is the best motivation to say, okay, what are the things to actually pull up my life into this realm here? Why not add kind of double the happiness, double the happy hours in my life? And then people usually, so in a talk, will say, well, I can't, well, I don't, well, yes, no, and then they get kind of uneasy with the question, and then sometimes what they do is they say, oh, Aunt, you're very motivational, and you got me there, and or can I hire you as a coach, or can I, whatever. They usually do that in a kind of a funny way, because they know I'm not a coach. And so what they so kind of they then come up with kind of excuses why they don't want this, and they don't even, and that is what I noticed, they don't even want to think. So they have a thinking barrier, and they believe, and they limit themselves at kind of this scope, while they could go, everywhere, and the sky is the limit. And yes, it takes some discipline, it takes a lot of practice, and so on. But there are a lot of principles, and I'll say, let's say here, this principle of saying, be a better version, of myself tomorrow, be a better version of myself the next day, or something like that. Never compare to anybody else. Compare only with yourself yesterday, and things like that. These, to me, I have about a list of maybe 20 of these really, really important slogans here, and ways to live my life. And now there are a few things, and one, let's say, I just want to say 3 things that three things that I do, and that is, in the morning I drink 1.5 liters of water. I don't eat breakfast, so I do 16-8 or 18-6, or sometimes 22-2, which is 1 meal a day. So I just eat for 2 hours, about 2 hours. And when you do 16-8 for a long time, let's say 3 months, there is no problem to do 16-8. And then you do that for another, few months, and then even 1 meal a day is not a problem. And the third thing I do, so that is intermediate fasting, 1.5 liters of water, and the other is, and that is cold showers. And now with cold showers, that has 2 advantages. A cold shower is excellent for your body, So your physics, that we know. And I think most people agree that you jump into cold water, you stay there for, I don't know, a minute or 2 or 3, and you get out. I think you will feel stunning. The day is great. But the second thing is, and that's the same for a cold shower. Cold shower, please. Most people say, oh yeah, in the end I kind of turned the water a little bit cold. No, it's cold shower. That means 8 degrees water. You just switch it on right into your face, on your chest. You wash your hair, you wash your armpits, you wash your other parts that you want to wash, and then that takes maybe 1 minute. Then you rinse, and then you wash again your hair, and then you rinse again. So the whole period will be around 6 to 8 minutes under cold water, and it's fantastic. After that, you think you can rip out trees. You know, that is what is my, if I stand in front of the mirror then after such a cold shower, I say, okay, now I can tackle the day. And this is exactly the thing I want to mention here, what it means. That means I can do everything. If I can take a cold shower, I can do everything. Every work, how hard, how nasty it can be, every negotiation, everything. You can do everything. And that is what you tell your mind. So that is why I think the cold shower is maybe the most important thing. And that leads to the mental thing. Because most of the people think, if you look at body, mind, and food, they would say it's body 50% and then food is maybe 25% and mind 20%, and they neglect the meaning. But what I would say, so that is what people usually would say, so 0% here. But what I would say, I write that in black, I would say the mind is 50%, and the mind I often combine with meaning, and then body maybe 25% and food maybe 25%. So that means if you can kind of choose, then choose what you do with your mind. And with your mind, there's another kind of a thing that I really love, and which is you are always perfect. Now the thing is, then lots of people then tell me, you know, I teach these, and then they say, oh, you're arrogant, you're not perfect, and so on. Wait. The thing is very, very clear. That's the state of my brain, or my different brains. And in that occasion, with that state, I reacted to a specific situation. And my reaction to the situation was perfect. Now you tell me that maybe what I did was not okay. It was not okay here, and I forgot that. Okay, fine. Then I now learned, okay, and it doesn't matter here. Maybe I didn't pay attention. I wasn't concentrated. Okay, fine, that's true. Because in the state of my mind, I was not concentrated. I was maybe in the condition that I woke up late or early or whatever, didn't sleep, and the condition wasn't good. So, but in exactly that situation, that was a perfect reaction. And now the thing is, here, compare yourself, be a better version of yourself the next day. Okay, fine, I was perfect today. And tomorrow I will be a better version. So tomorrow maybe I will do this right, and this maybe I can't. I still have to study a little bit, and this I did right. And then the next day you're perfect again. In every condition you are perfect. And for me, this sentence, you're always perfect, is fantastic. And because it frees you completely from being anxious. You're always on top. You always think, I'm calm, I can do it, no fear, because the fear actually kills you. And so that was kind of a 15-minute plot on, how I can convince, or I try to convince a person to actually live to the full and play with his grandchildren whatever sports it needs to take. So stay fit. Thank you.